you. Thank you.
Just one.
If you want to do any airline things,
Hi, so nice to meet you. Hi, welcome, Joe. Nice to meet you.
What's up, bro? I'm going to sit in your lap.
sit over here.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah, very nice. I showered today.
Me too.
How are you guys?
Good.
What's up?
We're here. We're excited,
Yeah.
you know, giving some information about boy bands and kind of like, it's not like, ooh, tell the truth, tell all. It's basically in the sense of, hey guys, love to sit down with you, love to tell your story from the beginning, what's been going on, what's been happening, and what's in your life in the future, the past. And you start to just sit with them and they just tend to open up, which was pretty amazing as far as like some of the stories.
Let's talk about your relationship. How do you guys know each other? Just in kind of talk about that.
We worked at Universal together, studios, when I was, what, 16 years old?
16.
Yeah.
And so 30-something years ago.
Wow.
Were you Jaws?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
No, but even different.
Funnier.
He was Beetlejuice.
I was Beetlejuice.
And I was a werewolf.
Yeah, I was.
It was a Beetlejuice graveyard review show.
That is
Wow.
fantastic.
Interesting.
And were you his manager at one point?
I am now.
You are currently his manager.
Unfortunately.
You were on the journey with him throughout.
Yeah,
though.
so the beginning of it, I remember he sent me a VHS tape. They were in Germany. And he said, dude, we're blowing up over here. And I watched it. First of all, I didn't believe it. I was like, nobody cares about your group.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he shows me a VHS tape. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
It's all these people chasing the bus. And I started working for them back right when they started. And I took the climb with them and ran the whole thing with them.
Please explain what a VHS tape is to our younger audience.
It's something that slides in the machine and you hit play.
It looks like a cassette tape, but you probably don't even know what a cassette tape is.
Yeah, you
Listen,
blew that
you're not
one.
going to need it anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Joey, you have mentioned that being part of NSYNC was a life-changing experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from living in Brooklyn, New York, moving to Orlando, Florida, not knowing what was happening in the sense of, you know, just doing everyday school, and then all of a sudden wanting to sing, wanting to perform, and then being able to be part of NSYNC right after high school, legitimately graduating and moving on. It definitely was overwhelming. The funny thing is back then there was no social media. There was no, we never had any social media training. No one ever said to us, so whatever we answered, and if we, sometimes we'd hit each other and go, don't say that, that's weird.
Yeah.
That was our media training.
It's like you learn as you go.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And by the way, it didn't change just his life. It changed my life and other people as well.
Yeah.
Like, NSYNC got so big that everybody that started with him, and that's the coolest thing, a lot of us didn't know what we were doing. Like, we just kind of were like, what's going on here? And it took off.
Managers,
You were pioneers.
All of us.
presidents.
And then what happened is, looking now, and we see people we work with, we're like, man, do you remember? We didn't know what we were doing, and all of us kind of enjoyed a ride together. That's what made it so special.
I was at Radio Disney in '99. Doing like mall concerts, like hosting, and that was the era where like I was making fun. I was like, if somebody had twins, they're like, you're a boy band, double action, go make mommy money. So there was just constantly just bands being created all the time. But what people don't know and what you hit on this special is there is a dark side to that.
Yeah.
And talk about that a little bit.
Every human goes through things, right? Theirs is just glorified because we know them in the public and we think everything is perfect and they're lucky and they do this and they do that. But they go through things that all humans go through. And we wanted to not only expose that, we wanted guys to sit down and talk about it. I mean, Nick Lachey sat down and he basically just didn't promote anything, wasn't talking about Love is Blind or anything. He was talking about himself and his bandmates and his life and growing up and how fortunate he was. And that just revealed so many different things. It's not so dark. It's more just like human things that happen.
Challenges, right?
But everybody goes through those kind of things, believe it or not, as crazy as it is. People have gone through, you know, mental depression, bankruptcy, adultery, you know, whatever it is, divorce. So that's the thing. It's like telling people, and I know it sounds so stupid, you know, the magazines are like, they're just like us.
Right.
But it's the truth because it's just heightened. That's the only thing. It's like, for instance, and even in the doc, there's a part where I actually was almost possibly going through bankruptcy. I literally was trying to figure it out, but nobody knew that because I kept it quiet, but I didn't want it to blow up because there was no reason to blow up. It's like, listen, you fall on hard times, you got to pick yourself up. You know, some people do not, and that's the hard part. And that's why I want to bring awareness because there are some celebrities and some artists that are not as fortunate enough who have passed or went down that dark path and never got out of it.
And people just look at the stardom, right? Like all the trips, the concerts, but they don't really understand what goes on behind it. You just mentioned Nick Lachey, and who else do you have in this documentary? Because I'm really interested
Nick
to see.
Lachey, Jeff Timmons. We do almost like two guys from every group. We tried to. So Nick Lachey, Jeff Timmons, Jamie from All for One. We also have AJ from Backstreet. We have Ashley,
Estrada,
Ashley Estrada from
Parker.
O-Town, myself, Lance Bass. Also Joe, a couple of the people behind Melinda Bell, who's also behind the scenes as well. So we do, and there's hours and hours of footage and other people that you don't even see yet. So this is something that we hopefully maybe do some more and just kind of, again, tell the stories and say that, hey, it's okay to have a mental breakdown, but to talk to somebody about it, to figure it out.
Normalize it,
yes.
right?
Normalize it.
Yes.
That's a good word. We also kept it to where an era, it was Boyz II Men, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, O-Town, that like 15-year era from 90s.
It was jam-packed with boy bands.
We didn't go to New Edition and we didn't go to New Kids on the Block because we felt like that was a little before that time.
Yeah.
We felt like you said, the mall thing in the 90s was a craze.
It was huge.
We stuck to that kind of ballpark of time.
And they're kids. Every single person you're talking about at that point was a child.
From 14 to the oldest might have been 20-something.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see young people now, and you're like, oh, that man, get his stuff together. What an idiot!
Yeah.
And you're like, he's 14 years old. Like, what are you talking about?
But not only that, when kids do, even now we're talking about this. There's even kids nowadays that are like, I got a deal and I got this, and they think they're the best thing, and it may be shady. Yeah. So always keep your eyes and ears open. Look to see. And again, not everyone's out there to screw you over, but there are times that people do.
And Joey, were there things going on back then that wouldn't be allowed today?
Many things. Obviously, well, first of all, social media is around, so you can't do anything without a camera being around. Anything. Yeah. So there's always that accountability of being there, you know, and being in the eye of you know, an audience, and it's very hard to do that. So, but again, for me, I always learned to just I think I knew my right from my left in the sense of knowing what's right and wrong. Right. You know, I was raised fairly well, but not everybody's always raised fairly well in the sense of in the doc you have where a lot of these guys looked up to Luke Perlman as a dad, as a big papa or something. You're kind of like, what? Yeah. And it explains why. It's really crazy.
Yeah. Well, I hope you do another one, and I hope you do another generation because it still happens over and over and over again.
No, there's rock bands, girl bands. I mean, you name it. Yeah. But even out there,
K-pop.
Everything, actors and all. We all go through this, and I think there's a lot of stories that should be told. And again, in the light of not being like so dark. Yeah.
Right.
This is what it is. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Everybody thought it was therapeutic. Everybody loved it, and we're getting calls from other people to do more stuff.
That's awesome.
And we keep saying, dude, we did okay here. We're very, 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 very worried about exposing things that were not necessary and doing this thing.
But the cool thing is as they talked, they just opened up.
That's nice. And it naturally happened. And that's what
the fans are gonna love it because it's another aspect that they get to see. Right?
Therapeutic, not salacious.
I'm a big fan, by the way. This is a dream come true, Joey. I don't know if you know this. We need a picture.
I thought you not for me, not for you.
You don't care, I know.
It's actually been a big fan.
I didn't know.
I haven't seen you in forever, so I just wanted to make sure I'm happy.
You're here, and I'm happy about this. Joey and Joe, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Make sure to check out the two-part series Boy Band Confidential premiering tonight and tomorrow night from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on ID and HBO Max. Late night, 9 p.m. Look at it. You're like...
Prime time.
Like the Red Shoe Diaries.